Hi everyone, Kelvin Hoy here, the Cinephile. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for clicking. As you can see, today I'm doing a collaboration with Matthew. Take it away.
What's up, nerds? So for today, I am joined by Kelvin Hoy, and we are going to be doing a collaboration, and we're going to be talking about our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2021. But before we get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine and Calvin's get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. I also ask that you do it for you other smaller YouTubers, and I'm pretty sure they would appreciate it as well. So, Calvin, let's get started on this list. How are you doing today?
Do it. Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's snowing here, so
Yes,
winter.
it's cold. I'm in Canada, so
Right
it's
on.
cold. We're in a
Yeah.
cold spell.
Right on. So, 2021 is a very packed year for movies. I'll tell you what. And for me, I don't know about you, but it was hard to narrow it down. Yeah, was it hard for you to narrow it down
Yeah.
to 10?
Yes, because there's I think this year is sort of a bit odd as well. I mean, I think before we did this video a week ago, the films are being pushed back. Some of them are staying this year.
Right.
So I don't know what's on your list. You don't know what's on my list yet. But for instance, No Time to Die, for instance, just was shifted back another, I think, 4 months or 5 months.
Yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
So, and then one of my films on my original list, Uncharted, is in 2022 now. So it's
Right
gone.
on. Yeah.
So I have to readjust my list, but let's get to it. You
For
can go
sure. I
ahead.
had to constantly like look and
Yeah.
see. I was like, is this still coming out? And I was like, Wikipedia, when's it dropping? And so
Yeah. And it's
it was a little
also,
bit.
very quickly before we get to the list, it's also like the anticipation sort of, it's just a bizarre, the past 18 months have been bizarre.
For
So it's sort
sure.
of like something that was really anticipated a year ago really isn't so anticipated now because of the delays, and it's not as exciting anymore, right?
I totally get what you're saying. I totally get it.
It's sort of like, oh, Christmas, but we're pushing it back 6 months. Like you wouldn't be excited for Christmas anymore. You sort of been,
right on.
I don't know, sad about it. But go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no. All right, well, we'll get started on our list, and we'll count down from 10 to 1. I'm excited to see, A, what your number one is, B, if we have any of the same movies in the same spots. It'll be quite interesting. So for my number 10, I had Raya and the Last Dragon. Now, this is directed by Tom Hall, Carlos Lopez Estrada, Paul Briggs, and John Ripa, and it's starring Awkwafina, Kelly Marie Tran, Gemma Chan, Daniel Day Kim, Benedict Wong, and Sandra Oh. It opens March 5th, 2021. It was formerly March 12th of 2021, but they pushed it up. And in this animated film, Disney, Kelly Marie Tran leads her voice in the title character, a young warrior in a fantastical land who embarks on a quest to find the last dragon. Now, Awkwafina, who's been who's on a roll as of late, will provide the voice of said dragon. And I think the dragon's name is Susie or Susie.
Yes, Sisu, maybe.
Sisu, yeah. And who will help Raya in her needs to bring peace to her land. And they just dropped the second trailer for it, and I think it looks great. This is dropping a day and date release in the theaters and on Disney Plus, but it'll be an additional charge, which I will be buying. And I'm quite excited about it. I love animation. I have 2 kids, so we will be watching it that Sunday. And I'm really excited for it. I think this movie looks great.
Yeah, fantastic. So our list will overlap. So
For sure.
I'll just go over it. And I think when we overlap, it's good that, I won't spend too much time on it. So it'll be interesting that way.
Right on.
So I'll say one sentence about Raya later.
Okay.
Yeah. So my number 10 is, and no judgment,
Totally cool.
is Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, right.
The trailer just came out, I believe 8 days ago.
Something
or
like
9
that,
days ago. And it's a good trailer. And I think just because it's new and we haven't seen anything from it. So that's why it's my number 10. And
Right
I
on.
put it as my number 10 because I I think it'll be fun and it'll be entertaining, but I don't know if it's actually going to be good, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be. I think it'll be special effects will be good. I don't know if it's going to be um, a really fantastic film. But anyways, Godzilla versus Kong. So fearsome monsters Godzilla and King Kong square off in an epic battle for the ages. While humanity looks to wipe out both of the creatures and take back the planet once and for all. So it's coming out March 31st now in North America. So international, I think it's still going March 25th. And that's because of another film, which we'll talk about later.
For sure.
By a certain a man
God.
that goes by Mr. S. But this is directed by Adam Wingard, and it's Godzilla, King Kong. There's Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall is in this, and she hasn't been. And I was interested in Rebecca Hall because she's sort of one of those actresses that sort of go in and out of blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
So the last blockbuster she was in Iron Man 3, which I believe was 11 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
She's one of those actresses. Beautiful lady.
For sure.
But yes, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun film. Like
absolutely.
The past, I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters and King Kong Skull Island. And those were both pretty, and we're just having a chat, I don't want to offend you or anything like that.
Dude, you can say whatever. It's totally fine.
Yeah. But both of those were a little bit mediocre, right? I mean,
right. Yeah, I would agree with that.
They're not fantastic. So I think this one will be fun. That's why I say I don't know if it's going to be good. So I just put it as number 10 because it's one of those sort of on the edge for me.
Right on. Yeah, no. I mean, and Kong's going to win, so.
Oh, why? How? I don't understand that. Honestly, I don't understand that. How will Kong win?
He has opposable thumbs, and he has 4.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, Godzilla, all he's got is that fire breath, and Kong's all like, "I got this magic axe" in that trailer. So
yeah,
block.
Atomic breath, right? It's nuclear.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wicked.
Well, I mean, like, go ahead.
He can take a. I don't know if you watched the previous one. Sorry, I don't want to like spoil them for you.
Oh no, I've seen it.
I think he can take like I don't know what kind of bomb they used against him in the last one, Godzilla, but he can take a
hit.
Not an atomic bomb, like whatever bomb it was, right? It's
right
like,
on. Yeah.
So hit. I think Godzilla. I don't know. I think
it's
Godzilla
cool.
wins.
I don't really think there's going to be a winner in the movie. Like I commented on your trailer reaction. I think that it's just going to be like, there's going to be a bigger threat and they're all like, hey, we got to come together, buddy. Stop fighting each other.
It's very, it's very Batman v Superman, actually.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So for my number 9, I chose, shoot. I have to change this one. I just now saw it. Fuck me. Oh, man. You got to give me 2 minutes. Shoot.
Okay.
Such a
Go for it.
I'm just going to pick something. So stupid. All right. I'll just pick this one. Okay. I'm ready to go. I'm going to start this one over again. Okay. So for my number 9, I chose Top Gun Maverick. Now, this is directed by Joseph Kosinski. I don't know how to say that. Doesn't even matter. It stars Tom Cruise, of course, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Val Kilmer, Jay Ellis, Miles Teller, and Monica Barbaro. I think that's how you say. And this comes out July 2nd, 2021. Great Balls of Fire. We're getting a Top Gun sequel after 31 years. Not a whole lot is known about this movie, except that the filmmakers have recruited a cast of some of the most in-demand young actors in Hollywood, including Miles Teller, who will play Goose's son, and that Val Kilmer is officially back as Iceman. And as the trailer released during Comic-Con promised, it will be again featuring Tom Cruise riding motorcycles, playing volleyball, and flying jets like a madman. And I'm excited about this movie because I don't know how you are or how old you are, but I'm kind of old, and I remember watching this when I was younger, and I just loved this movie. When Goose dies, spoiler alert for all you youngsters, but when Goose died, I was all like, "Oh, Goose!" and everything. So yeah, I'm excited for this movie, and I like Tom Cruise a lot, even though he yells at people on set. But yeah, what about you?
I'm looking forward to it. It's cool because it's not on my top 10, so that's great. We can talk about that. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I think Tom Cruise has a very good producer eye. He's probably one of the better producers. Obviously, there's some disappointments. He's been in business for I think 40 years now,
For sure,
or
doesn't
maybe
look a day
35.
past 29.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be much more polished. The first one's great, by the way. I'm not trying to insult the first one, but I think it'll be more,
Oh, go
maybe
ahead
a
and
little bit more
salt it.
action, more action packed, more polished. More 2021,
For
obviously,
sure.
or 2020 when they shot it.
Yeah.
More modern. But actually, Matt, I just watched it last year,
Oh,
the
right on.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those films that sort of it came out actually before I was born, I believe, or maybe the same year as I was born, and so I never caught up with it until last year, and it was good. Like it's still good. And Tom Cruise has a nice character arc in the original film,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be
Yeah. The only
really. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go. You go. You finish your
Oh,
thought.
I think it'll be really polished and really really fine. I don't know about the story or the emotion.
Right on.
I
I
think
do have I have issue with, and I don't know if it'll be a problem for the movie, is the fact that they didn't bring back Kelly McGinnis. Uh,
sure.
just because I mean I think it's because she just got fat, and I'm all like, well, yo, give her 3 months, she can, look pretty good. I just think and I mean, like, she doesn't look that bad. So I think that'll be its biggest hurdle is people be like, why didn't you bring back Kelly McGinnis? I mean, you brought back Val
Yeah.
Kilmer. Come on. And he's not exactly thin. So
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that was just, I hate to say it, but I think they're using Jennifer Connelly as the love interest,
Mhm.
who's not that young anymore. I mean, she's a beautiful lady, but she's like 50, I think. Um, but I think she just looks a little younger or thinner or whatever.
Right on.
And I think the original, is it, sorry, what's the actress's name? Is it Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly McGinnis.
Yeah, I think Kelly was slightly older than Tom Cruise originally already. I think she was already in her 30s and Tom was probably in his 20s,
Mm.
if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I mean, that's just a little thing for me. I'm still looking forward to it. I think it'll be action packed and maybe a little
For sure.
maybe more of a story like The Enemy. I don't know what they're gonna do though, because I think the original one's very vague about the enemy, right? But then this, I think they'll still be vague because they can't really say. I mean, they could, like the Russians or the Chinese. Well,
Right
definitely
on.
not the Chinese because that's just because of box office reasons, not
For sure.
because they don't deserve it. They do. No offense. Hate to get political, but
Mm.
yeah, I look forward to it, man. Looks good. I know
Yeah,
we haven't seen too much for it, and Tom Cruise is a big movie theater guy
for
person,
sure.
so it's not coming on streaming. It's coming on theaters. If they have to delay it to the fall or to winter, I think Christmas 2021 sounds fine for that film.
Yeah. Right on.
All right,
All right.
number
So
nine for
yeah.
all right. Let me just make sure I don't mix them up here. All right. So number 9 for me is In the Heights.
In the Heights.
Yep. So In the Heights is directed by John M. Chu, who directed Crazy Rich Asians a couple of years ago. So In the Heights explores 3 days in the New York City Dominican American neighborhood of Washington Heights. So this was Lin-Manuel Miranda's first Broadway hits, I suppose. I guess this was like 10 years ago or 12 years ago. And so this was his first one, and it's finally coming out as a film.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Anthony Ramos, who was in Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
Melissa Berra, Stephanie Beatrice, and Ariana Greenblatt with Corey Hawkins. Okay, so and Anthony Ramos is sort of famous in that sort of Broadway sense, right? And he has a lot of fans from and he was in the original Broadway. I think he must have been like 20 because he's
Right
only 30
on.
something now. Yeah, I don't think he's 40 yet, so he's still young. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. This trailer came out, it blew me away. This was like, I think 18 months ago or 17 months ago. The trailer came out when I saw it. I can't even remember which film, but looks great. It looks beautiful. I think John M. Chu is one of the coming up directors. I think Crazy Rich Asians was very stylish.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I actually rewatched it, parts of it. My wife rewatched it, and I was sort of half paying attention. The second time, I mean, I watched it in theaters, and it was great. But the second time, I don't know if the story holds up that well, but it's very stylish. It's well done. And it's very respectful of Asian culture, right? But I'm looking forward to In the Heights. I don't know if it's on your list, but I think it looks really good. I think it'll be a little bit contracted because I'm sure the Broadway show is like 3 hours, right? And they don't want a 3-hour film. So, it's a bit simplified, but I've never seen or listened to the music, to be honest, for In the Heights. So there'll be a new exploration or new journey for me. It's
Right
coming
on.
out June 18th, 2021, June 18th. And I believe that's pretty firm because it's coming out, it's a hybrid release. It's on HBO Max and in theaters internationally around the world. So yeah, looks great. I think it's going to be a really beautiful film.
Yeah, no. It is not on my list. I'm not sure if I'm really interested in it. I like musicals, but
Sure.
I'm not like the biggest Lin-Manuel Miranda fan, but I'll
Oh,
probably watch it. I'm not gonna I wouldn't go to the
my wife
theater.
hear that. she loves the guy.
Oh, right
She
on.
loves the
Well,
guy.
I'm sorry, finish what you were saying. I apologize.
Oh no, she loves the guy. And I will say very quickly, I don't think he's, from what I've seen, Hamilton and Moana. So those are the two main soundtracks that I've heard from him. I don't think he's written a bad song. Like he's very good, very good.
Right on. I just for me, I just think all his stuff sounds the same, and I
Yeah,
just I don't know, like but at the
sure,
same time, this one I'm not expecting it to be different from the way his stuff sounds
Mhm.
before.
Right.
It's just I don't know. I feel like when you do something, especially with music, I think sometimes it's best to experiment and do something that
Mhm.
maybe we haven't heard before. And I don't think he's done that yet, but he is doing Little Mermaid. So
Yes.
let's
Oh
see.
dear.
Yeah, so
We'll
let's see
see.
the new songs he writes there and see if they
Yeah.
sound different than what he's done from the past. But at the same time,
Sure.
I do like Hamilton and Moana, so I'm not like I don't dislike him. I'm just not like I'm not like a huge Lin-Manuel
Sure.
Miranda fan.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah.
That's right. Thank you for mentioning that. He is doing The Little Mermaid, and he's doing. There was another film that was on my top 20, Vivo. So
Oh, right
that's
on. Yeah.
like an animated film for Sony,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a musical. So he's doing the music for that. I don't know if it will come out now. The pandemic might have
Right
messed it
on.
up. But that's one, and he's doing Tick Tick Boom or something like that. That's his directorial debut. I don't think that's. Oh, that is a musical. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if In the Heights will feature new songs. Maybe one new song.
Right
Um,
on. I
and
mean, if
then
it doesn't, like.
Yeah,
You gotta
and then
stay
the Little
true. Mhm.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid, I'm sure will feature one or two new songs. So we'll
Yeah, for
see.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay, go ahead.
it's gotta feature at least 2 new songs, because if you don't, then why hire
Sure.
Lin-Manuel Miranda when you can just do
Yeah,
all the other
I just
songs?
he has to incorporate. It's sort of one of those things with I don't know how many of those reimaginings you've seen,
All of
Beauty
them.
and the Beast, and yeah, so like Beauty and the Beast, they add like I think two or three new songs, but you have to do like Tale as Old as Time. You have to do
Yeah.
um oh my gosh, my brain.
From Beauty and the
What's the first
Beast?
one? No, yeah. What's the first one called? When they're all like bonjour, bonjour. What's that one?
I think that's just, I don't know what the name of that song is, but I know what song you're talking about. It's the very first,
Yeah, like
scene in the
Bell.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, like you have to include that, and then you have to incorporate new songs, or else, as you said, people like why do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and new
So,
scenes. So we'll see. I think, but I am looking forward to the Little Mermaid. I think it'll be, especially since they have the water technology down now,
absolutely.
or better, with Aquaman. So
Mhm.
they can just steal it and improve it. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Sorry, number 8.
Yeah, no, my number 8 is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, and that is directed by Michael Chavez, and that is starring Vera Farmiga. I don't know how to say her name. Doesn't even matter. Patrick Wilson, uh, Rory O'Connor, Sarah Catherine Hook, Julian Hillard. That opens June 4th, 2021, and that is also a simultaneous release on HBO Max. And it is excuse me, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, I think that's how you say her last name. Anyways, return to reprise their roles as the real life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren in this third chapter of the original Conjuring franchise, focusing on a real case they investigated in which a murder suspect invoked demonic possession as a defense for his crimes. Now, Michael Chavez, who directed 2019's Conjuring adjacent spinoff, The Curse of La Llorona, takes the reins as director, while James Wan remains attached to the film as a producer. Now, I first just want to say, James Wan, I love that guy. Aquaman is so freaking good. It's ridiculous. And I think as a horror person, doing a lot of horror movies, I think that he's fantastic. He has one I think that's coming out this year also. I think it's called Malignant. Don't quote me on that.
Yes, yes, yes.
And
No, correct.
I don't know what that's about. I did hear that they did a test screening and that it did not go over well. So they're trying
Oh,
to redo some stuff. But pandemic, it's hard. But as far as La Llorona, The Curse of La Llorona, that movie really, I did not like that movie. I didn't think it was very respectful of the La Llorona mythos and that
mhm,
culture. I thought it was kind of, I don't know. It wasn't. I think that when it comes to stuff like that, if you do like say what Coco did with
mhm,
Pixar, when you respect a culture and a people,
sure.
people will show up from that culture to watch your movie. But when you do stuff that's not as respectful, they're like, "Why
Mhm.
would I go see this? You're just basically mocking me." So screw
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
But I am excited to see this movie. I like the Conjuring franchise. I love horror. I don't believe in all this ghosts and stuff like that, but it's always fun to watch this supernatural stuff and everything. So that's my number 8. That's my number 8.
Nice. So that's not on my list. It is not on my list, but I think I've only seen the first one, to be honest, The Conjuring,
Mhm.
which scared the crap out of me. Um,
You
I
didn't like
grabbed
The
my.
Bride?
No, I didn't. I haven't seen any of the other ones, so I
No,
don't
no,
know.
the lady in the black with the black veil and everything, the old
Oh,
lady.
gosh. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
It was just. I actually watched because I haven't seen. That's the only James Wan film I've seen. I'm not a huge horror guy. I
Right
know
on.
there's Saw. I should watch Saw, but yeah, I think probably The Conjuring is more my style rather than Saw. So I chose that one before Aquaman came out just to see his style
Mhm.
and what he's capable of. And he is a good director. Um, I'll disagree with you a little bit on Aquaman. I think it's
What?
it's a fun film. It's not my favorite.
Oh
of the
man.
DC films for the past since Man of Steel. It's past, oh my gosh, it's almost 8 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know. I was young back then. I was in my mid 20s. But before I met my wife. Anyways, yeah. So The Conjuring, I think, yeah. I mean, I think it'll be fine. And it's the third one. I don't know how many new tricks they can do. As you said, the director doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. I think it's a core fan base now, right, for those films.
For
And
sure. For sure.
and I mean, yeah, it might be great. I don't know, but the first Conjuring is fantastic. Like, I think that's one of, I think most people think, not just me. It's one of the best horror in the past 10 years,
Right on.
15 years. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really great. It's not.
Yeah.
It's subtle too. It's not too. That's why I like. It's not too violent, right, or gory.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
it's great. It's fantastic. I really like it. But yes. So moving on to my number 8.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Sorry, just making sure.
Totally could.
Oh yeah. So my number 8 is Eternals from
Eternals.
the very very popular, the very invincible, seemingly, Marvel Studios.
Right on.
So I think it's just Eternals now.
It
Uh,
is.
yeah. The saga of the Eternals, a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth and shaped its history and civilizations. That's it. That's all they're giving us. We know nothing about this film. I think there was one leaked image that I saw. It looks great, of the actors in the costumes. And this is directed by Chloe Zhao, who directed, I think she directed Nomadland, right?
She did. Yep. She wrote and directed.
And what was the other one she directed before that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So she's in the best. She might win Best Director at the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
That's how good she is.
She might win that movie might win Best Movie. I don't know. A lot of people are talking about it. So
yes. How do you pronounce it? Is it Nomadland?
yeah, it's Nomadland. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't seen it. I've seen none of her
either.
work, but apparently she's, one of the up and coming directors, and she's going to very soon, maybe with Eternals, become one of the most popular directors of all time.
Right on.
So yeah, that's all we know about the synopsis. Now this is by, this was made famous in the comics by Jack Kirby.
Mhm.
I think 50 years ago now, or 60 years ago now. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so it has Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kit Harington, Kamali Nanjiani,
Kumal Nanjiani.
yeah, Ma Dong-seok, who I just saw recently in Train to Busan, which is
love that movie.
Fantastic, man.
I love that movie. Did you see the sequel?
No, I heard it was not as good.
It's not as good.
And Gemma Chan. So Gemma Chan is in this as well. She's sort of doing double duty. I think they realized they sort of wasted her.
They did. I love Gemma Chan. I love her.
But she was in blue face paint, right? So
right on. Yeah, like, you can. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if I showed a picture of Gemma Chan from Captain Marvel and a picture of her in Eternals to my kids, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They'd be like, "Oh, this one's blue." So it's totally fine. Plus, her character's in it for a total of what 10 minutes tops. Like, so I think it's fine. Yeah, they wasted Gemma Chan in Captain Marvel, so I'm totally fine with it.
One of the few exceptions that they've made. So great cast, and I think I'm really excited for it. And it's my number 8. And unfortunately, spoiler alert, it's the only Marvel film on my list.
What?
Black Widow did not make it on because I think it's just been delayed so much. And I think Black Widow sort of, and I like those films, don't get me wrong. I like all the Marvel films, except for
all of them.
Iron Man 2. No, not Iron Man 2.
Oh.
Sorry.
I could talk shit about some of them all day.
Yeah. Oh no.
Because there's some of them I absolutely do not like, and I'm all like Iron Man 2. Sure. I hate Iron Man 2. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's sort of like one of those series. It doesn't. it's sort of incredible that it doesn't, not from the fans, from the critics, it doesn't have the whole Marvel universe. I think they're at 22, right?
I honestly don't
20,
know. Oh, as in movies?
yeah, 21
Oh,
or 22.
23. There's 23 of them.
Thank you. 23. It doesn't, they don't, the whole franchise doesn't have a rotten score. Like that's pretty incredible
Mm-hmm.
slash unfair because Iron Man 2 should be run. Like that should
Yeah,
be
so
like,
should Thor too. I didn't like Thor, The
yeah,
Dark World. I hate that movie too. It's so stupid. I don't even like Iron Man 3.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't like Thor, the Dark World, but I can stomach it more than Iron Man 2. Like Iron Man 2 is atrocious, I think. But anyway, sorry.
yeah, right
Um,
on.
Eternals, I think I'm looking forward to this because it's sort of more grand in a way. It's sort of these characters are thousands of years old. They come from space, so that we'll have space scenes, and of course scenes set on Earth, for to make the audience relate to it and for money purposes, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think they're holding back because they don't know. I believe the first trailer, if it was a normal year, the past 18 months would have been normal. I think the first trailer probably would have been with Black Widow because it would have come out 6 months later. And I think Black Widow will be delayed, at least another 2 months.
Oh, right
So
on. Yeah,
probably
I
summer.
think so also.
Earliest, I think its release date is in May 7th or May 8th.
For Black Widow,
Yes.
it is coming out.
Or
I'll
May
tell you
6th.
because it's on my list. It's May 7th right now.
There you go, May 7th. So it's coming out, earliest would be July, I think. I think they're pushing it back.
Right on.
With the vaccines, and they're just gonna wait for the vaccines to, take hold. But yeah, Eternals, I think it's just the more exciting film. That's just my opinion. So that's my number 8.
Oh, we'll revisit this. We'll revisit
Sure.
this movie. Don't worry. So, all right. Yeah, no, your eight's it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Number 7.
Number 7, mine is A Quiet Place Part 2. Now, this movie was supposed to come out on April 23rd this year, or in 2021. It was supposed to come out in 2020.
2020.
Originally. Yeah. But it got pushed back. It was supposed to come out in April, of 2020. Sorry, I said 2021. I don't know. But the pandemic hit right in April and everything shut down. They had spent all of their marketing budget. Their marketing campaign was done. And then this movie got pushed back hardcore. So it's coming out September 17th, 2021. It's directed by John Krasinski. It's starring Emily Blunt, Noah Jupe, love Noah Jupe, Millicent Simmons, I think that's Simmons, Cillian Murphy, Denman Hansu. I don't know how to say that.
I didn't know I forgot. Actually, I think I knew.
And it's okay. So directed by John Krasinski, returns to helm this sequel, which he also wrote, starring his real life wife, Emily Blunt, as it follows with the Abbott family after the events of the first film. Judging from the first trailer, we'll also get some flashbacks to the beginning of the invasion / infestation. Whatever you want to call it, it looks like Krasinski has done a bang-up job reenacting and building up tension, and audiences should be in for another great ride. Now, I have to tell you, the reason I'm still excited about this movie is because I like the first one so much. I thought it was really great. I don't know how it'll play up well with the whole being quiet thing, because when I saw it in the movie theater, nobody talked. Like everybody was like dead silent the whole time. And I think that was really something special that the first one got. And I don't know if the second one will be able to do that just because it'll be different. But I do really want to see those flashbacks because I'm interested in seeing how these aliens got to Earth. And then, and B, I would like to see what happens to the family after the death of Dad Abbott and everything. And plus, I love that Noah Jupe kid. I love that kid. Every movie he's in, I'm like, that kid's going to be huge.
He will be. He will be. Um, I think this I had to kick this one off my list.
Hmm.
Um, just because, as I said earlier, the it's been pushed back twice, I believe. So it
Hmm.
was supposed to come out. Was it April, early April,
Hmm.
2020,
Yep.
and I think they pushed it to the fall of 2020, and then, or maybe this April 2021, and then they pushed it again, right, to September.
They did. Yeah. September
Yeah.
17th.
So I think things will look brighter then,
Hmm.
hopefully for the movie theaters. The first one is fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, you talk about it's just a beautiful film. It's so emotional and so
Hmm.
well done. Um, and so it's one of those what if situations that if you were put into, like, how long would you last if you even lasted, if you figured it out, right? And
Hmm.
what would the world do? What would the government do? Um, could you stay quiet? How long before you snap? Right? It's just one of those great concepts
For
from the
sure.
past.
Yeah.
Definitely past 10 years. I think it's one of the best films of the decade. I think the first one only came out in 2019, right?
I don't know. I didn't put
Yeah, I
that.
think so. Anyways, that's not important, but
Hmm.
yeah, unfortunately, I did have to kick it off my list just because
Hey, it happens.
the delays have made me not as excited, and also it is a sequel. Uh, I think it's cool. Sort of ended the first one ended on a note where a sequel would make sense. So I
Hmm.
don't have any issue with that. I think I think there's only one or maybe two flashback sequences, I believe. And to be honest, I never liked. I don't know, Matt, what you think about it, but I never liked that Krasinski talked a lot about after the film was a hit. Obviously, he talked a lot about the concept and what he thought.
Hmm.
I never liked that the aliens just sort of rode rode rocks, basically rode meteors
Right
to
on.
Earth, because space is like minus 1,000 Celsius. So I that's just sort of a and I like Superman who can fly in space, so that's sort of just a silly thing for me.
Right on.
But
Right on. Well, I think
yeah,
there's a difference. Like Superman's like
yeah,
a made up character. And I mean, these are made up aliens, but I mean, like
sure,
it's on Earth in real
right,
time. So I,
yeah, and I think but the first one is so beautiful, and also I think I had to leave it off my list because I do think I want to temper my expectations. I'll keep it in my top 20 most anticipated, but not the top 10, because I think there might be a little dip in terms of, I don't know if you watched Wonder Woman
I did.
1984,
Hmm.
but that was just, I don't know how you felt about it. I don't know.
Oh, it's not that great.
Yeah. So I
I
think,
watched your review. We were
yeah,
on
yeah,
the same page.
yeah.
We park our Batmobiles in the same cave.
Yeah, I do think A Quiet Place Part Two will be good, but the first one is just so
Right
fantastic
on.
that I just think it might go down a little bit for me.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what
So
was your number 7?
my number seven. All right, so let's go. Let's get to it. All right, so my number seven is Raya and the Last Dragon.
Ah.
There you go. So I know you spoke about it at length, so I don't want to talk about too much. You gave a great rundown of it. Uh, Now these are, I think, Don Hall. I don't know who Carlos Lopez Estrada is, to be honest.
Hmm.
He must have must have worked at Disney for several years before this important directing gig. But Don Hall did direct Big Hero 6, or he was a co-director on that. And Big Hero 6 is very, very decent. Not my favorite, but it's very good. So that's why I think this film, and I am a musical guy, Matt. I love musicals, so you'll see why. Well, you'll see with the next one why I placed them in certain in this order. But I think Ray and the Last Dragon, as you said, has Aquafina, who is on a hot streak, and Kelly Marie Tran, who actually replaced, I think, unfortunately, uh, it didn't work out. I think she replaced another actress.
She
Um,
did, but
yeah.
from what I understand, that actress is still in the movie. She's just playing a
Oh,
smaller role. So,
okay.
but I don't
Okay.
quote me on that because I didn't look it up and I should have before I opened my mouth. But
Because she was supposed to be the main character, I believe.
yeah,
Cassie
yep.
Steele, I believe her name is. Yes, Cassie Steele, who's Canadian. So that was unfortunate. Um, but yeah, it looks beautiful. Looks super cute. I think it's going to be action packed. Actually, I think it's going to have a good story, be action packed, be cute, be beautiful. But and you'll see what I put ahead of it. Like I said, I'm a musical guy, so uh, that's why I put the next film ahead of it.
Well, I have
But
a question for you about Raya. A lot of people are comparing it to Avatar: The Last Airbender, with the fact
right,
that her look is very Korra-esque. They're
yeah,
also like, if you've seen that first trailer, there are different tribes, and they're comparing those tribes to the other tribes in Avatar: The
right.
Last Airbender. Do you think that Disney is going to get slammed with a whole, "Hey, you're copying another project," i.e. The Lion King, i.e. A lot of people are saying that they're oh, what is that one called? Oh gosh, the one with the two kids in Italy. I can't remember what it's off.
Oh, Luca,
Luca. They're saying that's going to be another ripoff of Poyo or Pogo or whatever. Ponyo.
Ponyo.
Yeah, they're saying they're going to.
Oh, oh
So
man, holy! You know what? Luca's not even. Oh man, I'm such a Disney nerd. Um, that I didn't even put Luca, and I made a video about it too. I didn't even put Luca on my top 20. Ouch. Um, 21 is that 21? Um,
so
yeah,
do you think they'll get
I don't.
some crap if it's
I not. You know what? To be honest, it's one of those films that was pushed back as well. It's supposed to come out in November last year, and after the first trailer, which I think it came out in March, like when things were still, you know, not horrible. Um, So, my anticipation for it has dropped a little bit. Like I said, I think it'll be funny. Like I think it's going to be a good film. I think, but Disney, if this makes sense, like Disney has such a high pedigree, and they're out of the dark ages. I should make a video about this. I've been meaning to, but I've just been lazy. Um, so they sort of went into a second dark age with after Tarzan, right? Starting with what was that film? Unfortunately, Emperor's New Groove, which I like. I think it's funny, but
boom,
it's
baby.
yeah, it's just the opposite of what Disney is, right? Like it's so not Disney, which is fine, right? They need that a little bit, but with like Chicken Little and that whole like I
Mhm.
think it was like 8 years, and then both sort of started them on this new
And so
path.
do you think
And I think
movies like this one, Raya and the Last Dragon, is like well, what do you think about the animation, and do you think this is the start of another renaissance for them?
I think they're in it right now.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like they're in the streak. Like for me, it's uh Moana and both, which are 8 years apart. Those are my two favorites for the past 15 years. So they call it the Disney revival
Okay.
because they had the Renaissance with Little Mermaid
Right
and
on.
Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and the Lion King and Pocahontas and all that.
Right on.
But I think they're in the middle of it. So I think that's why it's not my number one, because it's just they've reached such a level of good. Like every film is good, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like Pixar. I actually think Pixar's entered they're not as old, obviously. So they were in the first golden age until maybe Cars 2, and then that was the silver age, and then sort of mixed between these films. And I know some people say Onward. Onward just came out last year, actually, on Disney Plus, and I think that was sort of. I know some people don't like that one, but I actually think it's mid level. I actually think it's quite good. But that's what I mean. So I think Disney is in the revival, and that's why Raya is sort of not in that number top five for me, because they've just reached that level of good that I just expect it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they can beat like Moana. I don't know if they can beat Coco, right? Coco's Pixar, but yeah. So that's my, point.
Right on.
But to answer your question, sorry, I've not heard that. I haven't followed it too closely, to be honest. But I haven't heard any criticism. I think when the first trailer came out, there was a lot of positivity because it was sort of different tribes and, like, oh, this is based on Filipino people. This is based on Japanese people. This is based on Chinese. This is based on Vietnamese people, right? So there was a lot of positivity, and people were like, oh, amazing, because they all have different, like, they have different weapons, and they have
Right.
different hats, and they have different clothing, even though it's similar, right? But there are like very subtle differences. Like if you're a respectful human being, you wouldn't just say, Canadians and Americans are the same, right? Like there's, subtle differences. And or like British people and French people are the same. Like, of course not, right? They might look alike, but they're very different, or they
Right
dress
on.
different. So I think I've just heard positive things. I know the last trailer did not. They came out with a second trailer, which you mentioned you watched. I didn't watch it just to preserve my viewing experience. So I had this thing where I just watched like the first trailer, and then like I don't watch the final trailer if I can help it.
Right on.
So I know the last trailer did not trend. It did not pop as much as the first one, for whatever reason. So, but it's a hybrid release, as you said. It's on Disney Plus and in theaters where they're available. So I mean, it'll be fine. It's coming out in March, so they still have that sort of pandemic. If the box office isn't great, we're still in it, right? The pandemic. So,
Right on.
I think the numbers will be fine for it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, yeah. Pick my number 6. I have chosen Mission Impossible 7. Now, this is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It's starring Tom Cruise, and it's supposed to come out November 19th, 2021. And Tom Cruise will be back in action for the 7th installment in the franchise that showcased his willingness to engage in death-defying stunts. Now, Christopher McQuarrie will also be back as writer and director after serving those roles in the last 2 films. Now, hopefully, he'll be able to pull off a hat trick with a third certified fresh film in a row. Now, I have to say right now, I enjoy the Mission Impossible franchise. I do like these later ones better than the first ones. Well, when you compare them,
Sure, sure.
and I do think that Christopher McQuarrie is very good at these Mission Impossible movies. My only negative thing I have to say is that wait, time out. Have you seen all of them? Did you see
I've
the
not.
last one?
Sure, I've not seen the first one.
Okay, well, the last one. Okay, so my only negative thing I have to say about this franchise is they killed off Henry Cavill's character. What? He was like the best character in that movie, and you killed him off. He plays such a good bad guy. And I'm all
Yeah.
like, man, you guys should have kept him around. That was a bad choice, McQuarrie. That was a bad choice, in my opinion, because I was like, he could totally come back in like the next movie and just be like the big bad forever. I would totally watch every movie with him as the baddie. But yeah,
I
that's my.
love
What was
I
that?
love Cavill. Don't
Yeah,
get me
I like.
started.
Yeah, so that is my number 6. I love that Tom Cruise does his own stunts. I mean, I'm pretty sure his insurance is out the roof for that, but I do like it. I'm excited for this one, even though he has been yelling at people on set, which I think is a little
Yes.
crazy. But at the same time, I'm all like, I'm pretty sure he just wants his movie to get made. But yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you? What did you pick for, or did you want to say something about Mission Impossible 7?
Oh, it's not. Gosh darn it! There's just so many. There are really, it's a packed year. Even though I think the pandemic will push us into 2022.
For
I keep
sure.
telling my wife, like, I think the mask will last until 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's not in my top 20. Oh gosh darn it!
Hey,
Because
it
I think
happens.
I think they're just like, I think they've reached the level of good as well, where there's, I think was Fallout number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is number 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's in my top 30, 22, 23. I think it'll be good. I didn't love the last one so much. I think because they just,
No.
oh, I love, you know which one's my favorite? I love Ghost Protocol. That one blew me away.
Is that the one in Russia where Russia blows up?
No, that one, I think that was number 5.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Ghost Protocol is where they
Where it's on
they get him out of the thing.
what's the building called? Is it in is it in what's that really rich Middle Eastern country? I'm
Oh,
horrible at
Dubai.
yeah, Dubai. When they're in
Yeah.
Dubai on the
Yeah, I like that one too.
and he's falling, I was like blown away, right? Because I think after the third one, Mission Impossible 3, they were sort of doing like a creative, they were like, you know, should we keep going with this, right? And you know, Tom Cruise has a lot of, still does, you know, not so much as maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago even, but he still has that star power where he can sort of, you know, not force, but sort of encourage a film to be made. So I think it's a really fun series. I think it's probably, I mean, many people would say it's the best series going, you know, the best franchise going in terms of
Mhm.
quality and stunts. And I do love his stunts. I think they're insane and very dangerous. Uh, but yeah, it's not on my list, but I'm looking forward to it. I just expect it to be fun and good, right?
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
should be a good time. So speaking of your list, what is your number 6?
All right. My number 6 is, just making sure here, is Encanto from Disney. So
Right on.
that is you know, this guy, he's everywhere. That is with Miranda
Lin
again.
Yep,
So
Lin-Manuel
he's doing
Miranda.
the songs, but this one's huge. So it's an original film. He's doing, I believe he's doing 5 or 6 songs like Moana. And let me just read it for you here. Sorry. So Encanto is an upcoming American computer animated musical fantasy film produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Walt Disney Animation Studios. That's all we have. Like, there's no plot line, there's nothing for the film yet. But it is coming out November 24th, theatrical as of now. It's not going to Disney Plus yet. So it's coming out November 24th, 2021. It's directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard, who directed Zootopia. So this is high caliber. Byron Howard also called, Byron Howard also directed Tangled, or co-directed Tangled, and what was the other one? Was it just Tangled? Oh,
Um,
Tangled. Sorry, Bolt, Tangled, and Zootopia. So he
right
worked on
on.
all 3 of those. So this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. Did you watch the Disney Investor Day call or the
uh,
Investor Day and
I
everything?
followed it on Twitter. It was crazy. It was a fun day.
Well, Jennifer Lee, I think that's what is her name?
Yes,
The woman that
yes.
run.
He's the
Yeah,
CEO,
I
right?
liked her presentation of this movie because I liked
Yes,
how
yes.
she was like, it's a movie about a home made at home.
Nice.
Because all the animators, they sent all their high-tech computers to their house so they could work on
Yes,
it
yes.
during the pandemic. And I thought that was
Yeah.
a super fun way to say, and everything. And plus I like that also this is set in Brazil. And I like
Yes.
that it's I think that movies like this are really good when you try to incorporate a different culture and a different people
Yeah.
into a movie so that way there's representation and also diversity. And I think that magic, because it's like about a magic family and a magic home or whatnot, I think that it's really great to kind of show that maybe fantastical things can happen in other places. So I think this movie, I mean, they, like you said, they haven't really shown us really anything
No.
except for
Oh, sorry.
they did show the house. And I mean, if we're going to go on that, I mean, it looks like a good house. So,
Yeah. And I believe there will be magic in this film.
mhm.
So the plot is, sorry, I just looked at the plot, and this is one sentence. A Colombian girl, so I believe it's in Colombia.
Columbia. Sorry, I
Yeah.
take it back.
No,
I
it's okay.
apologize.
A Colombian girl grows up as the only non-magical member in her family.
Right on. Yeah.
So it's sort of like if you have a family of lawyers, right, or basketball players, you're sort of the different. So yeah, it's gonna have music by Miranda. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's what pushed it for me, because I love musicals because, I mean, maybe they're easier, they have more of a rewatchability factor,
Yeah, and they're
and
fun.
sort of, yeah, they're fun, and you can just listen to songs like literally a
Yeah.
hundred times.
Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to, Little Mermaid and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, those songs hundreds of times.
Yeah. And
So
you
yeah,
never
but
know what'll be the next Let It Go
yeah,
or you
exactly.
know.
And I think the pedigree is a little bit more impressive for this one, just because of Howard. I think he just, you know, I think Don Hall and maybe the other guy for Rhea. I think that'll be sort of more like an action film and sort of like a funny action film or like a two-hander, right? Like sort of like a buddy cop, but with a dragon and a warrior, right?
Yeah.
And then Encanto is more sort of like Coco, I think, more more magical, more fantasy. Um, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. That's my number 6. And why it's not in the top 5 is just because like I said, it's just reached such a level of good. Maybe it should be in top 5. Maybe I messed up, but um, yeah, they've just reached such a level of good with like Coco and other films. I don't know if they can surpass that, but I'm really looking forward to Encanto. I mean, they've just, well, because of the pandemic, but they've also just held on to a lot of they've held on to that secrets, and they haven't revealed much, but it's coming out in November. And either way, if the I think the pandemic in America, if it's still sort of staying the same, um, where you are, I think they'll just do a hybrid release. So I
Right
don't
on.
think they're pushing into 2022. I don't think Disney would see the point of that. They'll just say, you know what, it's worked to varying degrees of success. We didn't get official numbers for Mulan, but they're doing the same thing for Raya. Um, and they did Soul for some reason. They didn't charge anything for Soul. That was like a Christmas present. But
Yeah.
which is sort of bizarre. But
Oh, I'm so glad they didn't
and,
because
and Raya, but Raya's the same price points, correct? So
I
they didn't even.
believe so. If they, I as of recording this, I haven't seen
Yes,
if they put a price point, but I believe it'll probably be like $30, like Mulan was.
yes, and so I think the numbers for Mulan, while not impressive enough to report, I think they were fine because I feel like they would lower it if it was really bad, right?
Right
I,
on.
they would have done like $24.99, $5 off, right? And people would be
Right.
like, yes. But yeah, that's my number 6 in
Right
Kanto.
on.
Is
All
that on
right.
your list,
What
Matt?
was that?
Is that on your list?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
It is not. The only animated movie on there was Raya and
Oh,
Last
there you go.
Dragon. So, although there is a lot of fun animated movies coming out.